Welcome to the WAN show. I promise that I'm late for a good reason.
Are you gonna say what it is?
Well, okay. So actually, I know I always end up like doing a bunch of videos last minute on a Friday because I didn't get them done earlier in the week.
Yeah.
But this week we actually did a bunch of really cool videos that were very, very time consuming. We did a build guide for the first time since Anthony.
Wow.
So this is the first one I've done in like over a year because Anthony did our last one.
Okay.
So we did a build guide.
Linux, yeah.
It's like a value AMD gaming build guide. So like, people are gonna, you guys are gonna love it. It's great.
That's cool.
We converted my garage into a home theater, so that was pretty sick. Like,
Is it staying there?
You got, I'm on the fence.
Okay.
So okay. Think of it. Okay, now we're getting into the discussion. You know
Sorry.
what? Okay, well, 1 second. Wait, what's going on? There we go. All right. So basically, there's a couple reasons for it. One is that it gets whoever is enjoying a movie away from kids who make noise.
Okay.
Yeah. And also kids who are sleeping away from movies that make noise.
Right.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Number two is that, see, it might be a little bit early, but once autonomous vehicles and car sharing are really ubiquitous, I think people are going to be converting their garages because they're not going to have cars anymore.
To things, doesn't it? Like, whatever.
So that's a trend that I'm
cool.
like, I want to be on the forefront, the razor's edge.
Yeah.
You know, capturing back, because I don't know if you know this, but when you're shopping for whether it's a house or condo or whatever the case may be, the developer doesn't actually get to count garage space as square footage of the building. So basically, I am salvaging back like another, 200 square feet or whatever of house.
Yeah.
And all I have to do, because I've already got insulated walls on the outside of my garage, all I have to do is put like a heater in there or like take out the insulation on the
insulated walls were in there when
we
we were working there, right?
Yeah, but it was cold because there was no heat.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is it wasn't that cold.
It was pretty cold.
It was pretty cold.
Yo,
but if
run
you, like,
warm, dude.
But yeah. But I was going to say, like, if you did put on a big jacket or something, you were pretty all right.
Ed had one of those heat dishes.
Oh,
under his
yeah,
desk,
he did.
pointed at his groin. Okay, he was keeping his gonads from freezing, literally.
Okay.
So,
all right. That's fair.
Okay. So we got a great.
But okay, you had some heat.
Right. And last minute, we planned a trip where I'm going down and doing two of the most exciting collabs ever.
Okay.
So I'm going to be down in LA next week, and we're going to be working with Bitwit on the collab where it's my wife versus Wifey Sauce.
Oh, nice.
Build challenge. All they get to use are their husband's videos for how to build a PC. And I'm gonna let you guys in on something. I tried to cheat. I tried to cheat, and it ended up not working for me.
Oh.
So you know how we had discussed, maybe what I should do is I should do a new build guide.
And you just filmed a new build guide.
Different one.
Okay.
So, also, did I shoot that other build guide this week, Nick? Do you remember?
I think that was last week.
Last week, okay, whatever. The point is, it wasn't that one. It was the POV build guide. Because I had really thought, like, from a first-person perspective, might have been really nice for her.
Yeah.
That one's not going to be done in time.
Okay.
So it's not going to be up.
That's interesting,
She's
though.
going to have to go dig through the archive to find useful videos on how to build a PC. Maybe she'll watch Anthony's.
Nice. That's kind of funny.
So yeah, that's really cool. And we're doing a second collab, this time with iJustine, and we're finally doing the Premiere versus Final Cut Pro editing challenge.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. So is Taryn still editing?
Taryn, so this has a ton of moving pieces.
Yeah.
Guys, don't blame any of these people if they don't end up participating. There's 1,000 reasons why someone might end up having to bail, and it's like, I'm sure it's nothing personal because everyone wants to participate.
Okay.
But this is like the greatest crossover since, the Avengers meet Superman or whatever.
All right.
Okay, so it's gonna be me.
You're editing?
Oh, no, I'm just like hosting.
Okay, yeah.
No, heavens no.
That's all. I was like, what?
Me, Taryn.
I don't know if you're supposed to mention other people yet.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure. But
Does it matter? They're confirmed, but like I'm already saying.
Like the sanctity of the competition, you're not supposed to mention it.
Oh. Oh.
Maybe that's not the case. That was what I had heard before.
I don't even
But,
know all of them though.
Like, does Taryn know?
Well, he doesn't watch WAN show.
Yeah, I know. But
Yeah. Okay, I'll just mention one. Okay, I'll just mention one. So I'll be there. Taryn will be there. Justine will be there. Nico from Corridor Digital is planning to be there.
What is he gonna edit on?
He's not editing.
Oh.
Can I mention whose video they're editing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Definitely not.
Oh, okay. So I can't mention that. Okay, whatever. The point is,
That makes sense.
it's gonna be freaking awesome. Okay. Anyway, it's gonna be awesome. So it turns out I'm gonna be out of town for a lot of time. Wait a second.
right. With Kyle, I don't remember the name of it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But he used to have
Bitwit.
this segment.
Awesome sauce.
Oh, I know that.
Forever a Kyle.
He used to have this segment
Newegg TV. Awesome
where
hardware.
They play, I think it's normally Counter-Strike against each other,
Yeah.
but they have these cards that they can play against each other that are like nerd sportsy style.
Oh, really? Like handicaps?
You have to like wear Hulk hands, and I'm gonna like kill you for a while in Counter-Strike. And I used to love watching those. So while you're down there.
Wait, did you say Kyle?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he did that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I don't remember what it's
Shows you
called.
what I
100%.
Huh. We've
Because
got a
he
great...
would go against wifey sauce. That was their whole thing.
All right.
Oh, I'm guessing Nick is here to promote an LTTstore.com promo.
Yes.
Is that why you're here?
Yeah, of course.
All right, what do we have
You
this
guys
week?
haven't done the intro yet to the show?
We have not done the intro yet to the show, but that's okay. We can do your promo
Oh,
first.
jeez. Okay.
Oh, wow. So we've gone and put this shot at the very top of the store. That was very helpful and considerate of us. Should we put a different picture as the first one?
For the are you talking about the underwear picture?
Yeah, maybe like,
That's
what do you
that's
think?
Part of the promo
This
for
one?
week.
This one? No, I know, but maybe just like, just a shot of like underwear instead of me half naked.
Yeah, we can do that.
I mean, we don't have to if you just want to look at that every time you go to LTTstore.com. You probably go there more than anyone else.
Well, actually, I don't go to the public store very often. I think there are a lot of people that go there more often than I do, and they appreciate it very much.
Do they? All right. Fair enough.
Every night.
You can. Oh God.
So, guys, the promo this week is buy a 3-pack of underwear and get an LTT water bottle for
$9.90.
$9.90. Really? Is that what you said it to?
Because it's a percentage thing in the back end, and they can't do points of a percentage.
Okay.
So it's $9.90.
So it was supposed to be $10, but you know what? This dime's off on me.
Yeah.
67% off.
So buy underwear, get water bottle. It kind of makes sense for us to promo the underwear because we just got another shipment, so we got a big shipment, and we've seen a real pattern in the underwear where people buy one package and then they come back and buy 2 more packages because 9 is the right number of underwear to have if you do your laundry every week. Get it? Buying packages? Sorry, I'll move on now.
Oh.
Maybe if a lot of people buy with this one and try them out, maybe sometime between now and Christmas we'll have more deals on underwear.
Oh, will we?
Where you can buy even more deals.
Really?
Buy even more underwears.
Really? Oh, I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll
you
see.
didn't read that email that I sent you, so
No
there
problem.
you go.
I did read the email. I just read it at the beginning of the week. It's in and it's out, Nick. It's in and it's out. All right, so our main topics today are AMD Ascendant. Ryzen 9 3950X reviews are in and the 3990X has leaked. Project Nightingale. Google apparently collected the health records of 50 million Americans without their
Hooray.
knowledge. Isn't that a charming thing to do?
Yeah.
What else
fantastic. I was actually on Bitwit's page trying to find those videos, which I don't think he's done them in a while. So
Unless you maybe imagined them.
I don't think I did. But maybe Flowpoint exclusive if they're not like super performing well on channel or something, which is maybe why he killed it. I don't know. I'm not sure. Or ran out of ideas. Or I have no idea. Maybe I ran out of ideas. Apple launching 16-inch MacBook Pro with a new, old, better keyboard.
Yeah.
Also, the Motorola RAZR foldable phone for $1,500.
Yeah, we'll talk about that for sure. After the intro, though.
Bye. Temporarily.
Can't see the analytics. Comic Garage. Squarespace. PIA.
Are we live on Twitch? not YouTube. I just tried. It's not there.
Yeah,
We're
so
whispering.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah,
How is the stream on Twitch and Floatplane, guys?
Yeah, we're so on YouTube. It says video output low, and it says we're live, but it says the stream health is lordy. It's set to unlisted. Well, we'll go ahead and set that live now. Herpeter. All right. So why don't we move right into
That's my bad.
the big thing that happened this week. I mean, obviously, a lot of you guys watching out there would have already watched our review of the 3950X. Did you watch our review of the 3950X?
No.
You need an upgrade, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
I can't play.
it's great.
I can't play the new COD and stream at the same time.
No, you can't. Not without a 3950X, you can't.
Well, I don't know if I necessarily need that, but I can't with my current processor.
It's only $1,000 for a CPU.
Oh my God.
Canadian, 750 US.
I don't want to
and
spend
that's
that
assuming you can find one, because these things are going to be moving like hotcakes. It is so fast that it keeps up with Intel in lightly threaded, like single-threaded gaming situations, and it's got 16 cores. It has 16 cores. And the thing is, it's funny because compared to other parts of AMD's lineup, it actually doesn't look like a great value. So compared to the 3900X, although again, that's assuming that you can even find the thing in stock. Here, let's go ahead and 3900X. I think that's around $500. Yeah, so $530, assuming you can find stock of it. You know, the 3950X doesn't look like a great deal because it's like another $250. Like you're paying another 50% more for just 30% more cores.
Right.
So you could look at this thing and you could go, oh, well, this thing sucks. It's a bad bargain. But then when you compare it to Intel's lineup, so let's grab Intel's flagship consumer CPU, the 9900KS Special Edition. What? That thing's not $1,000. What am I even? Oh, forget it. That must
Amazon?
Yeah,
Amazon.
I don't know. Okay, so let's look at the 9900K, $480. Well, that one's only got 8 cores. So now all of a sudden, if you compare AMD's top of the line to Intel stuff, it looks like a downright bargain.
$581 for the
$581 for the KS on Amazon. Newegg was derping. They must just be out of stock and not
Yeah.
want people to order it or something. Maybe they don't know when their next allocation's coming or something like that. But like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Like when you have a flagship grade product and it still looks like a bargain compared to your competitor. Mind you, that's their competitor's, flagship product or whatever. But even if we look at like a 9700K or something like that, like that's more like what people actually buy. So that's, 8 cores without multi-threading, or hyper-threading, excuse me, as Intel calls it, without SMT, okay? So that's 8 cores for $319, but they're slower cores.
Yeah.
And no SMT. So like 3950X looks like an almost linear price to performance increase depending on what you're doing. So there's a lot of things that aren't going to benefit from having 16 cores in a desktop, and there are a lot of things that do benefit from multi-core, from multiple cores. Like if you wanted to run a bunch of VMs or something, where dual channel memory might end up actually being a problem, or running out of PCI Express lanes, because if you've got all these VMs running, you might want to pass through devices. You might actually have a lot of things plugged in. But for the light workstation, the Uber workstation light edition.
Yeah.
This thing looks incredible, and it games like a beast.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about that. That wasn't really in my notes. I was just this is an extension of how happy I was in my review.
On like the flip of the coin that I'll bring up is my processor would be very expensive, but it is also 5 generations old. And if I wasn't streaming, it has no problem with the new COD or anything else.
So yes.
And my dad has a processor that is 7 generations old and wasn't way too expensive when it came out. Actually, no, that's not true, because he got an upgrade from you for doing the plumbing thing. So he's still running that processor.
Ooh, okay, that was a while ago.
That's still usually just fine.
Yeah, okay.
It's not.
So
he
yes.
doesn't play the most pushing games, but he doesn't have any problems with it.
So that is an argument that you can make, is that while AMD has certainly made great strides,
Yeah.
a lot of what they did was make up for sitting on their butts for the better part of a decade. But
And
what's really cool is that Dr. Sue has, I mean, I don't want to use the word confirmed because CEOs have definitely made promises and not managed to deliver on them in the past, but has said that the next generation of Ryzen is going to come out next year.
Yeah.
And like first half of the year.
Yeah.
So not only have they made up for that decade of thumb sitting, they're like still going. If I'm at Intel right now, I'm like, I'm not freaking out. The thing you guys got to understand, Intel's this giant, multi-billion-dollar company. And even if Intel's performance was half of AMD's, I don't think AMD has the fab capacity even to supply the entire computer industry with processors. So like, Intel will have customers for a long time, no matter what, because AMD is relying not only just on a third party, so they're relying on TSMC to make their processors. So it's not just that, but it's also the fact that TSMC like has other customers. So they're not in control of their destiny, and their destiny is definitely not to have 100% of TSMC's output. So Intel's fab output, just from like a sheer, if you stop thinking about CPUs from like a passionate enthusiast perspective, and if you think about them as the commodities that they are for most people, if we're being honest, at the end of the day, if there's only so much rubber on Earth, you know, tire manufacturer B is always going to have customers to sell to as long as the Earth's demand for rubber exceeds the supply that tire manufacturer A can output, period. So it's not like Intel's in danger of going out of business or anything like that. But if I'm in the enthusiast division there, for example, I'm real upset because I'm going to start seeing, you know, my quarterly sales bonuses drop and stuff like that. I mean, that's one of the ways that a company as large as Intel manages to sort of not lose track of where their targets and where their goals are from like an individual business unit perspective, is making sure that there's a carrot and a stick at sort of every different level, whether it's data center or consumer or enthusiast or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Speaking of the sort of the bigger chips, one of the big leaks this week was, of course, MSI accidentally confirming the existence of a Threadripper 3990X with 64 cores and 128 threads. Now, this was rumored already, and then I had kind of wondered if they were going to do it because they launched the 24 core and the 32 core, which, from my perspective, were already so much stronger than the 16 core on the AM4 platform that they could have carried that platform on their own. I mean, from working at retail, or not at retail, because that implies I was like a salesperson on the floor, which I was, but this is not what I'm talking about. But working at a retailer in the product management side of things, what I can tell you guys is that, you know, if Intel or AMD launches a platform, so here's your motherboard, you know, good, better, best from Asus, MSI, Gigabyte, ASRock, blah, 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 etc.
Yeah.
And then here's this whole stack of processors, you know, like 6 different CPUs. 50% of the sales are usually like 2 boards. So whatever the standard ATX decent one is from, you know, the vendor that's doing really well this generation, and then like the similar one from like one of the other vendors, and then your next one is going to be like a really solid board that's like MATX or something like that, and then the rest is like everything else is kind of like dregs. And it's the same over on the CPU side. There's 1 or 2 that clearly outsell everything else and are like 50 to 80% of the total sales for that entire platform, and then there's like everything else. So they build out this whole product stack in order to make sure that they are meeting the needs of a variety of customers. And then they balance which ones they're actually delivering to the market based on consumer feedback by intentionally, in a lot of cases, intentionally crippling chips that could have been something better and selling them as something lesser. And then, of course, that's where core unlocking and overclocking and, like, you know, in graphics cards, firmware flashing cards, for example, that's where all that comes from.
Turning them into other cards.
Because back down to treating it like a commodity, which is what all these companies are doing at the 1,000-foot level. You might think, as a consumer, well, that's crazy. Why would AMD take a graphics card that they could sell as a Vega 64 or a CPU that they could sell as a 3950X? So these are both, you know, top tier, fully enabled chips. Why would they sell them as a 3900X with only 12 cores, so you got 4 and 4 disabled, and then a Vega 56 with some of the functional units disabled. Why on earth would they do that? Surely they could get more money selling them like for that much. It's like, yeah, but there's a limit. There's a limit to the customers who are gonna buy this, and you're better off capturing this customer than ignoring this customer. And so a lot of the time, the costs of a particular item end up blended, right? So they subsidize the cost of this one with like the extra money that they're making on this one, and as long as they're maintaining overall profitability and they're doing a good job of maintaining their product stack in a way that kind of makes sense for consumers and retailers, then hey, it's all hunky-dory. It doesn't matter if they're only making 5% on this one, but making 28% on this one, as long as for all the Vegas or all the Ryzens they're selling, they're making an average of, like 15, 20 points or whatever the case may be. Probably more than that now that people actually want their chips, which is pretty cool.
So I'm potentially thinking of upgrading next. I've been thinking about doing this system for a while.
You're gonna end up going AMD, aren't you?
Which
you're gonna expect me to get a system for you and make a video about it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was kind
of. So I'm kind of thinking of sort of making like a few years ago this would be really weird computer. And I'm thinking of trying to wait until Intel drops a GPU. And then going AMD CPU, Intel GPU.
The unthinkable computer. How interesting.
I think it could be kind of cool.
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can wait that long. Because you like game stream 3 times a week. And you've been playing nothing but COD as far as I can tell, you boring
I haven't for like
guy.
A long time because I like drank an insane amount of water before I came here and all this kind of stuff because I'm trying to not cough. I've been sick for like ever.
Yeah,
so I've been
like
basically
2-3 weeks.
not streaming for a very long time. But yeah, it's generally COD.
You will.
Yeah.
And then when it's time to stream, you can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's dead.
Great. That it is a bit of a problem, but I don't know. I don't want to upgrade right now, so we'll see.
Okay, the NZ Jester, brings up a really good point. Sometimes those components of the GPU or those cores on the CPU or some of the cache, for example, is actually defective. Or sometimes it works, but it doesn't meet the thermal or power consumption targets or whatever the case may be, or the voltage targets, and that is why it ends up being a lower tier processor. You are 100% right. And if the company plays their cards perfectly, then they will have exactly the defect rate and exactly the pricing strategy that makes it so that the demand for those products exactly meets the defect rate and everything is perfectly balanced. But in the real world, what they usually end up doing is erring on the side of disabling good ones in order to make sure that they're meeting the market demand and trying to build as many good ones as they can versus building a strategy around them mostly being defective.
Yeah. They're like, you're never going to get the exact perfect yields for the structure and product stack that you want to have.
Yeah. And
so they're going to manipulate it a little bit.
Especially as time goes on. Like, don't imagine for a second that once, AMD designs the 3950X, they're just like, okay, well, good job, everyone. All the time, they are constantly tweaking and tuning and trying to get those yields up, because the thing is, on a silicon wafer, the more usable chips they get, the less waste and the more profit they can get from that wafer. It costs, I'm not gonna say exactly the same amount, but it costs what it costs for each wafer, regardless of how many chips they get. So if you look at, a very extreme example of this would be something like a RED camera, where on a manufacturing wafer, they're gonna get however many sensors, but it might take them, and I don't know what their yields are like. And you know what? For all we know, every single one of them is good, and they're just marking them up because, you'll like it.
Capitalism.
Yeah, or whatever. But odds are that cameras, for example, are so expensive because the tolerance to defects is so low, because you can't have a dead pixel on a $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 camera. So the tolerance to defects is so low, and therefore the yields are so low that they might have to do multiple runs before they get a working freaking sensor. And so that's why a chip can cost anywhere from cents, for something where you can put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them on a wafer. Something like a motherboard chipset,
And
or
they're like all going to come out just fine.
Yeah,
because
or
their tolerances are huge.
like a Bluetooth chipset or something stupid like that. Down to something that is, enormous, like NVIDIA's top tier Turing GPU. That thing is freaking huge. So you can get a chip that's like, it's all fundamentally sort of similar. It's a microprocessor, but that costs anywhere from pennies all the way up to hundreds and hundreds or thousands of dollars, when they're all made out of fundamentally the same thing. They're all just made out of glass, right? All right, why don't we move on to our next topic here, shall we?
Oh my God, it's flipped around. Someone in the Twitch chat just called me Alex.
Oh, wow. No, this is not Alex. This is Luke. You can tell from his slightly, wow, how can you tell? Both blue-eyed, both got kind of flippy hair, both kind of blondish, both facial hair. Luke's facial hair is darker.
Oh.
Well, that'll be your cue.
Ah.
Apple, they finally did it. They launched a 16-inch MacBook Pro with a new keyboard.
That's actually the old one.
That's actually closer to the old keyboard than it is to the new
Hooray.
keyboard. All right, so Apple's just like, I don't get it.
Apple saw the Sonic redesign and was like, we can do this too. We can go back to what it was supposed to be.
I actually haven't seen that yet. I do need to look at it.
Oh, it's way better.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, it's
That freaky weird thing was
astronomically better.
super freaky
Yeah.
and weird. All right, anyway, back to Apple launching. So they did this weird thing that they do every once in a while where even though they actually just had an event a little while ago and then pointedly did not announce a 16-inch MacBook Pro when everyone was kind of expecting it, they just like waited, what is it, a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and then just like
Did it anyways?
just quietly put it up on their website and were like, yep, so
There it
there's a new
is.
computer. Okay. Am I being unreasonable when I say that really makes me mad? Because they would never launch an iPhone like that. Why is the Mac such a second-class citizen?
That's fair. I think in a way, they knew this would happen.
What would happen?
I didn't need to raise my finger so people can see I'm pointing at the laptop.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. I
Yeah,
figured
there
it
you
out. Just there would be articles made about it. We would talk about it here. Reviewers going to jump
Yeah,
on
but
it.
then-
Like it's not going to launch silently.
Why not launch an iPhone like that then? That's
don't know.
exactly my point. Like, why treat certain things like they are deserving of attention and other things like, I don't know, is it because, maybe Apple has like an internal formula that they use to determine whether they do a big launch event or whether they...
Because like there was stuff launched at their event that was more boring than this, and it
totally.
wasn't just the iPhone.
I
Like,
know.
Yeah.
Well, no, they had a second event since the iPhone event. I forget what they even launched because it was utterly uninteresting.
I don't remember either.
Why can't I not? Oh, AirPods. AirPods Pro launched. Okay, they're really good.
Okay, but they could have just bundled it with this.
Yes, but that's my point, is they could have
We have
easily...
multiple announcements.
Easily. Like, here's the thing, guys. I mean, they're working on something like a new MacBook Pro for many, many moons. Many moons. It's not like it was a surprise to them that, like, 2 weeks from now that this is going to be launching. It's not like they were like, oh, are we going to launch this or are we not? Like, when they're that close to release, when they can actually put it up on the website, they could have easily said, okay, availability in 2 weeks. So anyway, it just outright replaces the 15-inch model in Apple's lineup because basically it's just like less bezel, which is sweet.
Cool.
It replaces the justifiably hated butterfly key switch design with their old scissor design that's also found in the desktop Magic Keyboard.
Which was good.
They brought back the escape key.
To be clear, like I when I was more in the keyboard enthusiast community, some people used to be into those Apple desktop keyboards. I didn't like it, but they were into it. And honestly, when typing on one, I'm like, okay, this is a good experience. I don't prefer it, but it is a good experience. And then they ditched it. It's so...
They added a 100 watt-hour battery, which is the maximum allowed on planes by the FAA, which gives the laptop 11 hours of battery life. The 15-inch had just 10. And you can configure it with up to 64 gigs of RAM. up to 8 terabytes of storage,
Oh my God.
up to an 8-core Core i9 CPU and a Radeon Pro 5500. Can NVIDIA and Apple just bury the hatchet? Are they ever going to?
I think if they do, it would possibly require a new CEO. Not at NVIDIA, because that's never going to happen.
Well, someday it might have to. But
I guess. Not for a
won't live forever.
while.
Unless he can use
AI
GPU,
technology.
AI inferencing to, like, I don't know, make himself immortal. You know, with that leather jacket, he could be just supervillain looking enough to do it.
Yeah. You should figure it out.
I could buy Jensen as a supervillain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could get into that.
I could definitely see that. He now like controls the tech in all the cars.
So it starts at $2,400 and goes up to $6,000.
Wow. Yep. That's a lot.
That's honestly, with an 8 terabyte high performance NVMe drive, that's a lot of it.
That's fair.
Because you got to remember, this is not.
I wonder
like,
how much that exact add-on costs.
Yeah, this is. It's like $2,400, I think.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
over top of the base model. If I
And like
recall
you don't
correctly.
really need that.
I don't. I can't.
The vast majority of people are not going to need that.
I have a hard time imagining, and I know someone's gonna clip this and they're gonna like make me eat my words in 10 or 20 years or whatever the case may be.
64 kilobytes of RAM thing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine a reason to have 8 terabytes of storage on a laptop.
Now, maybe in the future.
What for?
I don't know.
Honestly.
But that's what
for?
that's what people would say
So-
way back.
No.
Okay, COD is 150 gigs.
You're not playing COD on this.
I'm just saying, file sizes increase.
Right.
It's a thing that happens. COD has gone up 3x in size in whatever amount of years.
Which is spiffy. Good for you. Go play your COD, you sword-wielding, shotgun-firing wanker. But that's not what we're talking about. This is not a gaming device.
I love that insult. Sorry, keep going. It's not a gaming device. Yeah, okay. But data for media is also increasing.
Barely.
People are going to get into 8K.
Okay. Hold on. We are at the physical limit of what you can do with a cell phone camera. You cannot keep putting bigger sensors in them because no one, Apple included, is willing to make their phones larger.
Yeah.
You can't pack more pixels into them because there's no benefit. Not because you can't keep making the lithography smaller. You might be able to.
Are we currently doing simultaneous raw and not raw video? I know they're doing that with photo.
Okay, raw video, I guess.
I'm just saying, there's like
I
places
guess.
things can go.
But that is such a niche use case, and there is no reason that file couldn't be on external storage.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I definitely agree with that part.
I mean,
Hands
Apple is
down, yeah.
literally king of the dongles.
Yeah.
Like, storage dongle. There's no reason to have it internal, to have it potentially lost when your motherboard dies and your T2 chip makes it so that your data can't be restored.
Yeah.
Like, that is so many eggs in a portable basket. I just cannot fathom it. And I know there's going to be digital artists out there that are like, okay, well, what about if I want, you know,
I work 8 hours
this
a day.
entire scene and whatever else. Sure, I guess we can do that, and obviously Apple can do it. For me, the magic number really was 1 terabyte.
On a mobile device.
Yeah. Actually, that was probably before that. As soon as we hit 512, I was like, yeah, I
like
didn't really crave more.
Because like I just brought up the argument if you work 8 hours a day, and like I know an artist that works more than 8 hours a day a lot of the time. But they do like Photoshop single image stuff, so theirs isn't that huge.
Yeah.
But even if you did video and video editing,
Yeah. Oh, I'm talking more like
you should be offloading your stuff.
I'm talking about more like 3D animation.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
but you should
digital
be
artist.
offloading your projects. Like they shouldn't live on only your laptop.
Especially
is, I
with
think,
what
we're saying.
Yes, very soon. Especially with what a piece of garbage Finder is,
Yeah.
and like how hard it is to organize things.
Yeah.
And you can do it, but be honest. Do you? Because if you are doing a proper job of organizing your digital life, you probably aren't storing everything on your MacBook.
Yeah, yeah, and like especially if it is for work, which
Yeah.
is I'm expecting that argument was going to come up, which is why I addressed it. Especially if it is for work,
Yeah.
because you don't want a single point of failure. You want like 3 So you should be offloading this somewhere, and then that somewhere should deduplicate to other places and send it all over the world.
Oh, wow.
Basically.
We have a new sponsor today.
No,
We don't?
we've had these guys at least one time before.
Really?
Yeah, I was excited for them to come back.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you weren't on the show that time.
Oh, I must not have been.
I think it was James and I, actually.
Comic Garage.
Yeah.
Comic Garage is the monthly comic book service. You can choose your favorite characters, and the Comic Garage will curate a personalized box around your selection. You will receive 10 curated comics in their monthly super box, or 24 curated comics in their ultimate box, and you can even purchase character-only boxes if you prefer.
Yeah. And they're like legit.
I wonder what kind of preferences they assume that I have here.
One thing I liked as
very
well is a lot of
interested.
comic book people like the quality of their comic books to be nice and pristine, and they do the actually nice cardboard box with bubble wrap, with wrap around that, with cardboard inserts, because these blue things are just like protector covers.
Right. There you go.
So I think that's pretty cool.
Okay, so what do we? More protectors. So what do we got here?
I think they're all like face in.
Nope. Half of them are one way, half of them are the other way, because
is, I think-
otherwise one end would be bulgy.
Yeah.
So we've got. Oh wow! So these are like. Oh no,
Legit.
this is not just like rando comics
No.
that they made.
No.
Okay, so we've got Daredevil, Fantastic Four, Hulk, Wolverine.
Batman, Robin, two different ones.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Catwoman, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I don't know this one, but JLA, Paradise Lost.
You know, it's funny
Spectre.
with all the Marvel movies and stuff. It's like I feel like a lot of people think that all of a sudden that they're like a Marvel enthusiast, when the reality of it is that the lore and the universe and everything goes so deep,
Yeah.
like decades and decades of deep.
Just writing hard.
Yeah.
Multiple universes, all this other kind of stuff.
So guys, check it out. Use offer code Linus to get $6 off your first box today. And it doesn't have to be for you. If you know someone who enjoys comics, Comic Garage makes a fantastic gift this holiday season. One of the things we've been trying to do with our kids is get them more into reading. And it's really funny. I was talking to an educator who I happen to know is an extraordinarily conservative person to the point where they would have concerns about kids reading books about Halloween.
Harry Potter. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, not Harry
Halloween.
Potter. I'm talking Halloween.
All right.
Like Halloween
It's
themed
been a bit.
Bernstein Bears book is like. But what they said in the newsletter was like, look, whatever I might think about whatever, the best book to get your child to read
Is what they'll read.
one that they will read.
That's a respectable
And
stance.
honestly, comics were a huge part of me learning to read.
For me, it was
Not comic books, to be very clear. I'm talking like Calvin and Hobbes, Foxtrot.
yeah.
Comics, like funnies. I wasn't that into comic books. I don't know where Archie falls. I think that would,
Archie
technically
and
be
Calvin
more
and
like
Hobbes
this.
were a pretty big thing for me.
yeah.
Another really big one for me, well, I mean, Harry Potter and The Hobbit. The Hobbit was really the one that like really projected me into my
So that's more of a novel.
adult reading.
Right.
Yeah. That was the one that made me go like, okay, I'm interested in big books now. Yeah.
The show is also brought to you by Squarespace. Do you need to create a beautiful website without the hassle? Check out Squarespace. Their all-in-one platform makes it easy to get up and running quickly. They have award-winning templates, and you can use their they have award-winning templates that you can use as a starting point for a wide range of projects. And if you ever need additional help, Squarespace offers webinars, a full series of help guides, and you can even contact their 24/7 customer support via live chat and email. If you already have a third-party domain, you don't have to give it up. Just transfer it over to Squarespace, and you get e-commerce features to help you sell merch or services online so you can easily manage your inventory and orders. So go to squarespace.com/WAN and get 10% off your first purchase. Finally, the WAN show is brought to you by Private Internet Access. Go to lmg.gg/PIA-WAN and get private internet access today. Basically, it's awesome.
PIA.
PIA. Oh, also, we accidentally weren't streaming on YouTube at the beginning of the show.
My bad.
So I should probably, no, I don't think that was your bad. I think it was, no, that was me. I set that last week. Wait, no, I didn't. I don't know why it was set like
But
that.
I should check it.
You know what? It
I think
doesn't
it's because
matter.
we used the other thing last week.
Buy a pack of LTT underwear, a 3-pack of LT2 underwear. I'm so sorry. I will put a different picture there. It's not much better. Here we go. There we go. Woo! Buy a pack of LTT underwear and get an LTT water bottle for just $10 with your order. So go ahead and add the underwear to your cart. Then the water bottle will show up or add both of them to your cart, and the water bottle will show up for $20 off. Actually, I think it's $9.90 because apparently discounts have to be done by percentage. Okay, it doesn't matter. All right, we've got time for one more topic before we have to. We started the show so late, and we also said we were going to talk.
7:45 today.
Oh wow. Okay.
Can Luke finish?
Do you want me to do one more?
Yes.
I can do Project Nightingale.
I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be
No, that's fine.
considerate of somebody else.
Yeah, we really want to talk about the RAZR. You know what, Luke? I'll call you.
Sweet.
My
Okay.
babysitter
I'm
started
totally down.
super early today, and I totally forgot. So this is going to be something a little unconventional. I'm going to call into my own show,
Yeah,
and so
this is awesome.
BRB.
I'm gonna check the chat to see what people think about how it sounds.
All right, cool. I just need to find my backpack, and then I'll call back in. If you want to just start Project Nightingale without me, that's cool.
Okay, I just want to see what chat says real quick. No one's saying anything. So I'm not sure.
Do we have a cardboard Linus that we can put here?
I wish. We
Where's
had
the
one
waifu
before.
pillow? The waifu pillow.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to do Project Nightingale, I guess, before we do the RAZR foldable phone. So Project Nightingale was Google collecting the health records of 50 million Americans without their knowledge. A bombshell report by the Wall Street Journal exposed Google Project Nightingale, an initiative by Google to collect all of that stuff. The data includes names, birthdays, addresses, family members, allergies, immunizations, radiology scans, hospitalization records, and all the rest of everyone's complete medical history. The data was provided by St. Louis-based Ascension, one of the biggest health companies in the U.S., in exchange for, you're not even on the phone right now, I don't need to do that, in exchange for secure management of patient data and the provision of tools to improve clinical quality and patient safety. Google says the initiative is completely legal, and they are also working on similar arrangements with dozens of other healthcare providers, also known as "we don't care what you think, we're doing it anyways." Furthermore, Google says patient data cannot and will not be combined with any Google consumer data. But now, the U.S. government, specifically the Office for Civil Rights in the Department of Health and Human Services, is investigating Project Nightingale to ensure they're following regulations. This sounds really bad. These are the opinion notes, not the notes from the meeting, but the opinion notes that I don't know who they were written by, this is not my opinion, says this sounds really bad on paper, but maybe we need a central database of medical information. It's better than waiting for doctors to send files directly to each other. And then the next note says, what's the worst that could happen? In my opinion, the worst that could happen is pretty terrible, because the second insurance companies and stuff get a hold of this, they could change your insurance rates based on whatever the doctor says, and they would have more leeway to do that kind of stuff. And I mean, things leak all the time and stuff.
We already know that that is what's going to happen with this. There's absolutely no doubt about it, because the insurers are using everything, from profiling using deep learning to, getting their hands on.
Getting their hands on what?
Lifestyle.
Oh, there we go.
To getting their hands on information about lifestyle, for example, in order to determine, how likely it is that, you're going to die or develop some condition or whatever the case may be, right?
Exactly.
Any excuse to squeeze you and add more to your premiums.
This is like the DNA sequencing stuff, 23andMe or whatever it's called, and all those other things. There's a big reason to not do it, which is they sell all that information, so your insurance premium might go up immediately.
The worst part of that whole situation, so we should probably do a quick recap for people who aren't familiar with those programs. Do you want to talk people through it?
I actually don't know it super well. All I know is that they do definitely sell that information.
No, I just mean the basics, like what those DNA testers are.
oh, you like buy this kit, and as far as I know, you like spit into a vial thing, and then you ship it off, and then they send you information about like who you might be related to, and what medical issues you might have, and et cetera, et cetera.
And these kits and the service are super cheap, like suspiciously cheap, to the point where it's pretty obvious that what they're doing is they're harvesting the data and they're selling it. And the worst part is that by participating in this, you're not only putting your own information out there and at risk of being obtained by someone you might not want to have it, you're also putting your family at the same risk. Because let's say, for example, that all of my siblings, for a lark, went on Amazon and bought a kit to test their DNA and submitted it. Now, all of a sudden, whoever buys that data can make a pretty darn good guess about me, even though I have never actually submitted any DNA for testing.
Yep.
Pretty lame.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Yeah, so the worst that could happen is like all your stuff could get sold. I'm not necessarily against a central repository of medical information, but I think if that happens, it should be managed by the government, not Google. I don't know why anyone's okay with this.
The issue is like, how do we trust them either?
That's
like,
true.
It's this ridiculous situation we're in, where on the one hand, you know, I'm actually applying for life insurance right now. I'm going through that process at this time, and it was like, I also happen to be changing my family doctor right now, and it was just baffling to me that one doctor's office had no way of getting my medical records from another one without it being faxed to them. I'm like, what year is it? 1986? Like, what is going on here? But the flip side of it is that no, in fact, this information is not available, because if we stored it all online, then someone would take it.
Yeah. Yep, that's very true. I don't know necessarily what they need to do, but this doesn't seem like it.
A new internet, okay? So get this. New dedicated fiber runs for secured data.
They probably have that for certain military things.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
I'm like not just like you know, I have never specifically read about it or anything, but I am so certain that they do, that I'm not even going to guess at it.
Yeah, yeah. So like doing that for medical doesn't even seem like that much of a stretch, to be honest.
Certainly a big enough industry.
Yeah, exactly, especially in the States. Okay, we're moving on. One more topic. Motorola RAZR.
About the RAZR.
Exactly. Yeah. Motorola RAZR foldable phone unveiled. I'm just going to go through the notes quick, and then I'll set you loose.
Sure.
It's been leaked to high heck already, but Motorola unveiled its modern revamp of the classic RAZR flip phone on Wednesday night. I will show it to you guys in a moment when I'm done reading the notes. It's got a 6.2-inch flexible display and a 2.7-inch secondary display visible when the phone is folded, so like the screen on the top. There's a Qualcomm Snapdragon 710, a mid-range CPU from 2018. 6 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage, 2510 milliamp hour battery. It's USB-C based. Android 9 Pie. Apparently it's going to upgrade to Oreo later. No specific date. Motorola has apparently addressed the dust and debris ingest issues, and it's coming January 2020 for $1,500. I'll show it to you guys now and let Linus go ham.
Well, you know, okay. The funny thing is I'm not even like a foldable phone hater. Like, I'm sure you could find people who think foldable phones are dumber than I think they are. And there's a lot of arguments to be made for why folding screen phones, particularly right now, just make absolutely no sense. Because compared to something like the latest iPhone, their water resistance, their dust resistance, their drop resistance, the hinge on the Galaxy Fold is starting to be a little bit wiggly wobbly. Not much, but like, it's not perfect anymore. Like, there's so much to go on. I mean, there is a reason that for the longest time, the trend in mobile devices was towards making them have fewer moving parts, not more, and fewer points of ingress, not more. But by and large, I really like the idea of something that it has a big screen, but then folds up small in my pocket. Where I get kind of lost on this one is that the unfolded screen isn't that big.
Yeah, and I will throw them a bone here by saying that they fixed the crease issue. This video doesn't have the animation for it, but there's a different video that shows like a cut view of the phone unfolding, and the way that they manage the fold is by like it doesn't pinch at any real point. It just kind of curves even more. So when it gets unfolded, there's no crease. It's a very seamless looking screen. I think it looks fantastic in that way. So I want to make sure they have that bone thrown towards them. But yeah, all the other folding phones, you're like massively increasing your screen real estate. With this one, you're going from extremely little to an acceptably normal amount.
Right, because to me, like the only reasons to change the form factor of a device are for utilitarian. Not the only reasons. Okay, how do I explain this? The problem with carrying around a tablet is that you have to have a bag for it. Whether it's a messenger bag or a backpack, it doesn't fit in your pants. And then when you go down to a phone, it fits in your pants. So it's like, for me, device classes, rather than being defined by the diagonal size of their screen in inches or whatever else, are defined by how you carry them. And that was always my problem with the iPad. People were pitching it as like this mobile revolution. And I'm like, yeah, if by mobility you mean going upstairs and downstairs in your house, like for a while people were trying to do it, but it's a joke to consider an iPad something that you actually carry around with you every day. Just use a laptop. Like if you have actual work to do, you're using a laptop. And by the way, if you put a type cover on your iPad, it's a laptop. So you played yourself.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So the problem that I have with a device like this is that it makes compromises and adds cost without changing the class of the device. So what a foldable phone like the Fold or the Mate X, I'm assuming, even though I haven't had it in my hands yet, but it's a similar concept, what those do is they take a device that was previously too big to be carryable and make it everyday carryable. Whereas what this does is take a device that was already everyday carryable, even at its maximum unfolded size, and make it like a different shape everyday carryable. And to me, the wow factor is a thing. People saw the Galaxy Fold and they were like, oh wow, that's cool. Like they would strike up a conversation with me just randomly in my daily life. So that's something. But to me, that's not enough of a reason to spend $1,500 on mid-tier last-gen hardware. I don't buy it.
Yeah. Last-gen hardware, not having Oreo on it yet. There's just some things.
Yeah, mid-tier last-gen software too.
Yeah. There's some things that just kind of seem a little weird about it that don't make me super excited. I actually kind of like the idea of an option for a much smaller in your pocket phone.
Sure.
I could see people going for that. I don't necessarily really care, but I could definitely see people going for that.
But if you think about like the design trends of pants, for example, is having something that's smaller in the X and Y dimensions but thicker actually easier to carry?
Yeah,
like,
probably
I would say
not.
having something slim is better for most pairs of pants, no?
Would be for me, for sure. I also think a big drawback is it's $1,500.
Yeah.
Like, it's really expensive. That's a lot.
And I think there's going to be a nostalgia factor for people with just the name. But
Yeah.
guys, you got to understand, this bears about as much resemblance to the original RAZR as like, I don't know, how do I even compare this? As like a modern Ford F-150 does to I don't know.
I was going to say a Durango to a Model T, but I don't.
Sure, yeah, fine. I mean, that's a Dodge, but who cares? It doesn't matter. The point is that, yes, they're both cellular telephones, I guess. But actually, yeah, the Durango example is perfect because Motorola is not even, it's owned by...
It's not the same company anymore.
The Motorola brand is owned by Lenovo now.
Yeah.
So Like
It's not the same people
company.
making it. It's an extremely different phone in an extremely different era.
Yeah, they could have called it something else, but they did this just to cash in on your nostalgia, and you should try to evaluate the device as it is rather than what you sort of remember it maybe having been at a something time rose-colored.
So someone in chat said screen isn't going to get scratched in your pocket. I mean, it still has a screen on the one side. And when's the last time you had a modern phone screen get scratched in your pocket?
Also, when's the last time you didn't buy a screen protector from D-Brand for like a few bucks?
Yeah.
Prism. Go get it.
Yeah.
Like and even if you don't buy a D-Brand one, you can get ones on eBay or like Deal Extreme or AliExpress for like literally like $3.
The first thing I did with my Switch when I bought it was I bought a like little tempered glass screen protector thing to throw on my Switch. That costs like almost nothing, and it was a pack of 2 just in case something happened with the first one.
Yeah,
Like
so for the price of like a normal flagship phone, like a Note 10 or 10 Plus or like an iPhone 11 Pro or whatever, you could buy yourself a lot of screen protectors to scratch up
yeah, just like a whole horde of them.
and get modern hardware.
Yeah.
And another thing too, like here's another issue that I have. Like who are they targeting with this? Like if it's supposed to be, your fashionistas, like with the original Motorola RAZR where it was like a super trendy phone, those people take a lot of pictures and upload them to Instagram these days. That wasn't as big of a deal back then. I can guarantee you, I haven't seen the phone. No one's seen the phone as far as I know. But I can guarantee you the camera on this thing sucks because Motorola hasn't made a single good mobile camera. And especially in a form factor like this, where they're going to be more thickness constrained, I am not imagining for a second that the camera is going to somehow be, a paradigm shift, quantum leap forward for them. So that's a huge problem to me.
Yeah.
Who's
So
the customer?
random thing that I looked up, Pixel 3 has a newer operating system and a newer CPU. It has a little bit less memory, I'll give you that much. And I think you can buy it with the same amount of storage, but I'm not sure. That's $600. So you could buy one, and if the screen got scratched, you could just throw it away and buy another one and
So you
still
got the
save
Pixel
money.
4?
Sorry?
Pixel 4 or Pixel 3?
This is a Pixel 3.
It's a Pixel 3, okay.
Yeah.
All right then.
So it's one gen back. Pixel 4 is a little bit too expensive. You'd still save a lot of money buying a Pixel 4.
Yeah, but you couldn't just throw it away when you don't like
No.
the color anymore or whatever.
Yeah, but you could also just go to a shop and get the screen replaced for nothing
Yeah, well, there's that too.
and save a lot of money. So yeah, that is not that is not a very relevant argument, I would say.
But I mean, the fact that we're down this rabbit hole, I think, underscores just the
Yeah.
kind of stupidity that we're dealing with here. I mean, I don't know. I might end up using the thing and being like, "Well, this thing is sick," but I doubt it.
I genuinely feel like flipping it open is gonna feel cool.
Oh yeah,
'Cause I used
You're
to
gonna
love
feel like
that.
a badass,
Yeah, I used to love my flip phone.
a badass with no money and a last gen phone.
Yeah, more than last gen. That's the thing. Is the processor on the Pixel 3 is notably better than this. It's a generation beyond in Snapdragon architecture.
Oh, that's right too, and it's a high-end chip.
Yeah.
Woof.
So we're mid-range and a generation behind last year's Pixel.
All right.
Like, what the heck, man? But yeah, I think that's it for the show. I'm going to cover
All right.
Super Chats because this is going to be the first time that I don't forget to do them when I'm
Nice.
by myself. Are you going to hang around for Super Chats or are you going to take off?
I'd like to hear super chats.
All right, let's do this. Give me a sec. Da-da-da-da.
This is so bizarre to me, calling into my own show. Hi, long time viewer, first time caller.
Someone asked, is the Samsung CRG9 the best 49-inch gaming monitor?
There are not a lot of 49-inch gaming monitors,
Yeah.
so I'm going to go with yes.
Sure. Yep.
With that said, if you're willing to go 55-inch, Alienware has their OLED model.
Oh. Here's
So there's
one
that.
that might interest you, Linus. Subcom Risk Map has been restored in the FAF vault.
I am aware. So this is so cool. When I complained in the data or the tech hoarders video about this map that I really wanted to play that didn't exist anymore, the original developer dusted off his code after I think an 8-year hiatus or 10-year hiatus where it wasn't working, and updated it.
That's so cool, actually.
Yeah, so he emailed me and let me know, and so I am waiting to try it. I was actually kind of hoping you and I could play it in the next little bit here.
I'm down.
It's really cool.
I'm down. A lot of people sending money from their Google Opinions rewards. Thank you.
Thanks, dogs.
Yeah. Hey guys from the UK, love the videos and thanks. You and Luke got me into PC building. That's cool. Yeah. Thanks for the content. Apparently they're having issues with the Flowplane app for Android. There's lots of updates actually coming out very recently. They're taking a very long time to propagate. So like when we launch a new update, they don't all immediately go to your phone. And I'm not sure exactly how it selects it. It seems like it's supposed to happen in downtime, which is generally overnight. But we found that it's taking like many days to actually propagate updates to everyone. So I don't know, but it is slowly but surely sending these updates out. So eventually, hopefully, you'll get some updates that'll fix some things. Jaden's been hard at work fixing a lot of different bugs on the app.
Are we going to have an iOS app at some point?
Yeah, he's actually also working on that right now.
Okay, cool.
I'm getting the Razer Core X and 2060S. Opinion, please. Neat. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It seems pretty cool if you want more graphics performance on your mobile device.
Yeah. Shroud collab video when? Someone's asking.
Oh, so soon. Shoot, I think it's in the next week or so. It's been a lot of work, guys, but it's going to be really good.
Someone asked, hey, Linus, I'm building a game dev PC. Should I wait for Black Friday / Cyber Monday, or are they likely to be out of stock? Blah, 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 blah. Short answer is absolutely. Also, I'm assuming Linus Tech Tips is going to have a Black Friday video?
Probably. I'm assuming we will too.
Yeah, I don't necessarily, not always a guarantee, but yeah. Sorry, I'm just skipping through some of these. Don't know who else to give these super chats to. Perfect. That's exactly what I want to hear. Hey, I was watching your 10 gig home network video. Congrats on the upgrade. Did Jake use shielded connectors on your Cat 6A cable? He didn't mention the grounding wire in his mini tutorial.
No, I don't believe we did use shielded connectors.
All right. Hey guys, I built my first PC and ran IDA64 stress test. Ryzen 5 2600 plus stock cooler. PC turned off at 85 to 90 degrees Celsius. Is this normal?
No, you should probably make sure that you put thermal paste on your cooler.
Yeah, and make sure you don't have like the little plastic thing covering the bottom of the stock cooler, if it is there. I'm not sure on that one in particular. Legitimately enjoying your videos. Love how you've been a trailblazer, turning YouTube legit, respectable business. Keep it up. That was from Jordan. Thank you very much, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
Would you be okay with me making a fan game of LTT for my project in my game development unit?
As long as it's for like educational purposes only, I'm not going to object to anyone utilizing our logo or our likenesses. As soon as you tried to commercialize it, I think we'd have a bit of a problem on our hands.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense.
And I think try to keep the integrity of the people in it. If you're using people,
Make sure you capture Luke's full sex appeal, please.
Perfect. Yeah. Got to get the badonkadonk in there. Bronson Eagle says, love you guys. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. Corey says, what happened to the team face pins?
Oh, boy. They are all in a room.
They're all sitting there.
At our headquarters in little velvet boxes. And that is a great question for Nick. You know what? If you want to put some pressure on him, you can message the lttstore.com support email and be like, hey Nick, what's up? Was just wondering what's up with the face pins.
I'd like to buy one.
They're so cool.
Oh, here we go. Okay, someone answered my question. He said, hey, Luke, the series with Kyle was called Stack Attack, and that's totally correct, because you had this stack of cards that you could, like, play against the other person, then it gave them a handicap.
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, you guys should play Stack Attack. I actually really enjoyed watching those. I don't know how well they did, so I'm not sure what the response to, hey, we should do Stack Attack would be, but, yeah. $50 donation from someone named Very Unemployed, which is an interesting combination. He says, as an architect and gamer, 2080 Ti worth it, or should I wait for a price drop when the new models drop? Any advice?
You'll be waiting a long time. I don't think we're expecting anything new from NVIDIA until sometime in the middle of 2020. So if you want to enjoy your graphics card for a little bit, I mean, one of the best things to do is you buy whatever it is that you can afford to buy, and then you keep your eye on the news. You know, don't stop following the hardware. And then once the rumblings start to show up, you flip it, use something, you know, you go back to your old card for a month or whatever, and then you get back, you know, 90% of what you spent on your 2080 Ti, and then you turn around and you put that towards a 3080 Ti or whatever the case may be. And if you do that every generation, you only end up losing about, you know, one card worth of overall cost every, you know, 8 to 10 upgrades, which is in the long term a lot cheaper than, you know, having it drop by 50% each generation or whatever the case may be if you're not staying on top of it. I mean, that's what I used to do when I was, you know, young and poor and stuff.
And I think GPUs would probably especially be a good example of that, which is where, like, honestly, upgrading every generation, but doing it with that proper cadence is very possibly a better way to do it than waiting the, like, 3 to 4 that most people do.
Yep. And if you buy used in the first place, then you lose less value on the flip. So I was super into that.
Just going through more of them now. Great videos as usual. Is Secret Shopper dead, though?
Secret Shopper is not dead. We aren't doing it this fall / winter, but we are hoping to bring it back next year with a new secret agent and a new co-host.
Will it be, I don't know if you want to disclose this, will it be the same thing? Are you going to be buying full PCs from system integrators again, or are you going to be buying something else?
Look, Spy, we are not giving you any hints as to our plans, so you can go back to your boss and tell them you have no idea.
Awesome. Oh my goodness. Brendan Stubbs sent a ton of super chats, at least 4, that all say this super chat is sponsored by Gamers Nexus.
Okay, thank you, Brendan.
Fantastic.
I asked Steve about that, and apparently it was just like a lighthearted offhand comment.
Yeah.
And then he was quite surprised that so many of his viewers ended up in the WAN show dropping super chat bombs on us.
Lighthearted offhand comments seem to be what the internet really loves jumping on top of.
Speaking of lighthearted offhand comments, can we cause some chaos here? Like, WAN show viewers, how about this? On Steve's next stream, can you guys just pop in and be like, The Verge sent us or something?
Yes! Don't say LTT. Don't say LTT.
Can you please make him shout out The Verge? I would love that so much.
Oh
and
my
I would
God.
love it if he never figures out it was me.
Yes.
That would be amazing. You guys would totally make my Christmas.
Oh, yeah. That would be hilarious. Please do that. Someone said, yay, money for Luke. That's not how this works, but thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, if you want to give money to Luke, you give it to him on his stream, which I think starts in like an hour and a half.
Yeah, if I even do it, because I'm not sure how long my voice is going to hold up, but maybe. Loving the new hairstyle, Linus. I see you've gone oh, right. You are now a broom with a Sharpied face on it, by the way.
Thank you. That's what I was going for.
Lots of comments about the broom replacing Linus.
Oh wait, is that what's there?
Yeah, there's a broom with a little smiley face on it. I'm not. Taryn did something. I don't know.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I thought they were just commenting on my actual hair.
Oh no. Yeah, there's an actual like straw broom here. I don't know where he got it from.
Sweet.
Someone's shouting out a game, but I've never heard of it, so I'm not gonna say the name just in case there's something weird, because there's a lot of weird games these days. Are we going to have an LTT winter hat / toque?
We wanted to do one, we didn't get it done in time, and it won't be winter anymore by the time we could get something done, so no.
Right, makes sense.
Maybe next winter.
Super pumped for LTX 2020, living out our lives to be in the tech geeks paradise.
Heck yeah.
Sweet. Is buying and selling used CPUs a thing? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think
CPUs
it's...
almost never die, so like,
Yeah.
it's one of the safest components to buy and sell used.
Yeah, even motherboards, because motherboards do die.
Yeah.
So like if you keep a relatively old motherboard for probably like roughly 2-3 generations and then try to flip it if it still works, you can make pretty good money because the CPUs will be more common and the motherboards will not.
It's actually really funny because like motherboards have this weird value curve where they go way down and then way up, and it only started happening recently, like in the last 5 to 6 years, because CPU performance wasn't changing really dramatically. So there were all these old but like still perfectly good processors out there and no motherboards to install them in.
Yeah.
With that said, I think the way that AMD is pushing performance forward right now is going to mean a big drop off in value for old boards compared to what we've been used to seeing over the past half a decade or so.
I think that makes sense. I think it might be stemmed a little bit by the software side not necessarily mirroring the performance improvement.
That's fair.
But the hype is definitely there. So I think it will
Yes.
have at least a bit of an impact.
Hype.
Yup. Da-da-da-da. Any update on the glow-in-the-dark... This is the last super chat. Any update on the glow-in-the-dark Constellations shirt experiment?
I have washed it 3 times so far, and up until this point, I am pretty satisfied with the way that the glow-in-the-dark effect has remained on the shirt. I will be giving it a little bit more time. I don't want to draw my conclusions too early, because if we're going to change something as beloved as Constellations, we want to make sure that we're changing it for the better, but right now it looks promising.
Sorry, I lied. There are more super chats. The super chat window was like glitching out and wasn't showing them all. And I'm definitely going to end here though because I have to go home eventually. But Ryan, there's 2 more. Ryan says, Linus, I need a new pair of sandals. What do you recommend?
Oh man, so usually I wear Echoes, but my last pair of them, honestly, not that great.
Ooh.
Actually, wait, hold on. Yeah, these are Echoes too. Yeah, no, my last pair of them is not that great. Like the flaps when you're closing the top one get like kind of folded over each other and stuff when you're doing it up a lot of the time. It wears it out faster.
That's Echo as an ECCO, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really have a solid recommendation, to be honest. I mean, let me just see. I think I still have my old pair that lasted a lot better. I'm trying to figure out what model it is. It's hard to say. Powered by Receptor Technology. Yeah, I don't know. Like, how hard is it for shoes to just like have a proper model name on them?
Yeah, shoe models are rough. Sometimes I think Nike does okay with it, but...
Yeah.
And
last
then
one?
the last one is, Luke, this money would be yours if your PC could handle streaming. Oof.
Oh, wow.
Oof. Just
Oh, wow.
shots
I
fired.
think that's what the kids call a big oof.
Shots fired. But okay, guys, thank you guys for coming. We'll see you next week. I'm going to roll the intro.
I can't believe how random this was.
Someone brought like the world's tiniest Apple box, which is some IKEA thing, and I stacked that with the comic book box on top of it, and then put the phone on top of that.
Was the audio okay?
No one's really complaining, so I think it's not great, but it's like fine. PIA, Squarespace, Comic Garage. All right, thank you guys. See you later.